Mac Games and Comics. Check them out on Facebook and visit their site at merrymacgames.com.
What's up YouTube, Evan from Epic Duel Time here, doing a commentary on another Duel video for you guys this week. In this video we have myself on the left piloting a Harpy deck, and my friend Michael over here on the right playing a Dragon Ruler deck. I never really get a chance to play too much on camera. I just, no real reason for it. I just end up not, for whatever reason, ever really filming myself or like it or doing it. But I decided to step in front of the camera for this one, because I figured the Harpy deck might be something interesting that you guys would like to see in action. I'll have a deck profile of what I ran in this video, and just some of my notes and thoughts on the deck. You can check the description for that. I'll have that up when this video goes up. But it's a really interesting deck. Changes tempo and pace really quickly. It's not too back row heavy. It's not too aggressive. It's really an interesting balance. It's not the most perfectly consistent deck, but it's really interesting. So for turn 1, I set 3 back row, and I normal summon Harpy Lady 1. One of my back rows is Icarus Attack, and I really want to utilize it to be able to maximize the amount of impact that it has. And blindly using it, obviously, on a Ravine or something is going to be really silly. So Michael's going to activate the Ravine. He's going to pitch Dragunity Corseska, which kind of tells me off the bat he did not have the most wonderful of hands. It's not like he opened cards or cards of consonants or anything. So he's doesn't really look too aggressive for turn 1, for his response to my turn 1, and then he sets 2 back row and ends. I'm going to Icarus the 2 back row, and they're going to turn out to be MST and Return, which is really good for me because those are the 2 cards that I really would love to clear off the field. I don't really want to see an MST on my turn, and I really don't want to see Return ever get activated. So for my turn, you're going to see a real change of pace from what I just did. So on turn 1, so I normal summon Summoner Monk, I turn him to defense mode and activate his effect by pitching a spell. I pitch my Hunting Ground. He chains the Max C. At this point, I have a really interesting decision to make: is how much damage I really want to do and how many special summons I'm going to try to push through. He hasn't really thinned through too much of his deck. So obviously, he's going to draw at least 1 card because he just chained it to Summoner Monk. So I summon Harpy Lady 1, and I've got a plan for this. One of my face down cards is Historic Party. So I decided that maybe it's worth trying to see if I can push for game. If I try to push for game, the most amount of cards he can draw is 3 total. I am only going to special summon 3 times. So I special summon Lavalval Chain, and I use its effect to send another card from my deck to the graveyard. So I'm gonna pick another Harpy Lady 1, and the point of doing is that if I just pitch a card for Historic Party, summon back all 3 Harpy Lady 1s, they're all gonna come back out at 2200 each, and I can win, as long as he didn't draw Swift Scarecrow. People kind of refer to this as the Maxi challenge, the idea of going off under a Maxi deliberately. In this case, I minimized my the amount of special summons I thought I would have to do. I accidentally put Harpies, the Historic Party in the Gravebacks, and it stays on the field, but I win this turn anyway, so I'm not too concerned about it. But that is what I'm talking about when I talk about that Harpies change pace. I didn't really understand that until I started playing this deck, that I can sit on 2 to 4 back row 1 turn, and 2 turns later I can be, putting 8,000 to 9,000 damage on the board. So it's really pace based, and it's interesting as long as you keep card advantage. And this deck's pretty good at doing that. There are some inconsistencies that I'm not overly thrilled about, but all in all, the Harpy deck's really an interesting deck. It's really fun. So Michael uses Ravine on turn 1, setting his graveyard up, and sets a 3 back row. I'm going to try to play a hunting ground. He MSTs it. I'm going to try to use Harpy Queen to get another hunting ground, and he's going to Divine Wrath that. So he's really keeping that ravine on the board. He knows how important that is. So I normal summon a Lady 1, and I attack directly for 1600. So I'm going to set 3 back row and end. And during the end phase, Michael's going to flip up his face down Royal Decree, and that's going to lock out all 3 of those face downs, which were all traps, one of which being Imperial Iron Wall. So yes, I was mildly upset about it. As frustrated as I guess I could be. So Michael then activates Dragon Ravine, pitching this dead Skill Drain from his hand. He doesn't really need it because he has the Royal Decree, and he's going to drop a Dragon Engrave. And he's going to banish them to summon Blaster, getting a search for Tempest. The Blaster is going to attack over, dealing me 12. For my turn, I'm in a bit of a difficult position. I can't really follow up on Blaster's attack. I can't really do anything until I draw an MST, which I do have, but it's not really getting me anywhere. So I have to pass turn. Blaster goes back to Michael's hand. Michael's going to then on his turn use that Blaster and banish it for 7 swords. The consistency of dragons has a really interesting comparison to the sporadic changes that the Harpy deck can make. It's hard to really describe exactly how pace based this deck is without being able to show you guys in like many situations that this deck can sit on, and grind for 3 to 5 turns on a couple monsters in back row, and yet in the next game make all sorts of crazy plays with Harpy Channeler. So Michael's setting up his graveyard in a really big way, using his Ravine. He had a second Ravine, so he's able to kind of really dump tons of cards in the graveyard using Tempest to get Debris. Debris brings back the Trigon that he sent with an earlier Ravine, and he's going to Synchro for 7 into an Ancient Fairy. Fairy's going to use its effect, popping his own Ravine to get it back into his hand, bumping his life points up by 1,000, and taking mine down to 21 with 2 direct attacks. I know that if I don't get an MST, I'm going to lose. So he overlays the 2 monsters into Draco Sack, using this one of the tokens to pop a face down Curse Seal of the Forbidden Spell. That's a really cool card in Harpies. Would have been better if I would have been able to use it. But Decree is that good. So I scoop and we go to game 3. Decree can be a really huge defining moment for any back row base deck. If you can't get the MST to get out of it, you're locked out, and your basic resources to keep yourself alive and winning in a match is very slim. So I open with a Hysteric Sign, using its primary effect to search out Elegant Egotist. And then I set 2 and normal summon Harpy Queen to get some monster presence on the board. And I pass turn. So Michael's going to activate 7 Sword. And he banished Blaster to search out the Trigon. because he has the Dragon's Ravine, so he's going to use the Ravine. Pitching Tidal. And then also pitching from the deck, a Tempest. He then sets a face down and ends. So I then activate Harpies Hunting Ground, and he's going to chain the Raigeki Break to destroy the Hunting Ground, which it will keep it from resolving properly, which means the Ravine will stay on the board. And having been able to push through that back row, I now know that I'm in a great spot to be able to do some damage. So I normal summon Harpy Channeler, and then I want to see exactly what I'm going to be working with. So I activate Elegant Egotist, and I summon Harpy Lady 1 from the deck. Chain to that was a Max C, so once again, that Max C challenge. So I'm looking at a lot of damage on board, potentially, based on where I take the play with Channeler. Channeler is kind of the deciding factor. If I really want to special summon another monster, it would have to pitch my last Harpy out of my hand to summon Harpy Dancer, and Dancer is going to have to re-summon herself to even try to be in attack mode. So I decided to not do any of that. I said I'm just going to deal attacks. So Harpy Lady 1 has 16, 17 from the Channeler, and a 2200 from Harpy Queen is going to bring Michael's life points, down to 2500. I decided to just play the conservative play. It's a better play. I'm confident in my 2 back row, so I decided to leave all 3 monsters face up on the field by themselves. I don't really want to make anything that can get big-eyed. I don't really want to make anything. Nothing's really going to get me out of the position better than having all 3 monsters just sitting on the board. So Michael uses Dragon's Ravine, pitching 7 sword from his hand. I'm guessing he was dead, and a Blaster. He then banishes Blaster and Tempest from grave to activate Tidal's effect to summon itself, to which I chained Vanity's Emptiness. So he's going to follow up and activate both of the effects of the 2 monsters that he banished. He searches out Debris and another Blaster. He sets one and ends. So I decide to kind of see where I'm going with this. If I'm going to try to special summon anything, I decide, it's not. I was considering a Lightning Chidori play, but I decided just to attack instead. Michael activates Swift Scarecrow, to which I chain Debunk, and I'm able to negate its effect. Michael realizes that he should have used the Decree during my standby phase, but it's a little too late, and I'm able to take the match. So now on to giveaways. Last Duel video's giveaway winner is Lorenzo K, and the winner of the Joey's World promo pack from the Sixth Sense video is Abraham Gomes, I don't know. If you want to have your chance to win a pack of Number Hunters and an Epic Duel Time deck box decal, there are 3 simple things you gotta do. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment with an answer to our question of the week. And this week's question is, what era and season of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime was your favorite and why? As always, like, comment, subscribe, and keep dueling America.